You ever just look up at the sky at night and wonder? It's probably the biggest question we ever ask ourselves. Well, in this explainer, we're going to dig into one of the oldest answers out there, a surprisingly detailed roadmap for the soul's journey pulled straight from ancient Eastern scriptures.
I mean, it's the ultimate mystery, right? It's a question that hits every single one of us, something people have been wrestling with for thousands of years. But what's really fascinating is that some ancient texts didn't just ask the question, they claim to have mapped out the entire answer. And look, we're not talking about some fuzzy, abstract ideas here. We're talking about what they describe as a literal, step-by-step journey, a sequence of events that unfolds for every soul. And to really get that journey, we've got to start right at the beginning, with life itself. So, before we can even begin to understand the journey after death, we have to understand the state the soul is in during life. And these texts describe it as a kind of entanglement, a web that we unknowingly weave around ourselves. This is such a powerful way to look at it. The Garuda Purana, an ancient Hindu text, uses this incredible metaphor of a tree of ignorance. Think about it. The roots are sin. The thick trunk is our ego, that constant sense of me, my, mine. And all the leaves and branches are our worldly attachments, our jobs, our family, our stuff, everything that keeps us anchored to this one reality.
And this quote from the Bhagavad Gita just nails it, right? It paints this vivid picture of a life completely caught up in that tree, driven by desires that can never really be satisfied, all fueled by pride and ego. This isn't just philosophy. It's a description of a psychological state that, according to these texts, sets the stage for everything that comes next. So if life is this big entanglement, what happens when the string gets cut? Well, according to these texts, it's not some gentle fade to black. Oh no. It's a dramatic, forceful, and incredibly specific transition. This imagery from the Garuda Purana is just, wow. It's so visceral. The soul, which it describes as being just the size of a thumb, is literally pulled from its physical home. You can almost feel the shock of that moment, the separation, where the soul actually looks back at the body it just lived in, its vehicle for an entire lifetime, now just left behind. And the soul doesn't just float away like a ghost. The texts say it's immediately given a brand new, subtle body. It's called the Jatana Daha, which basically means a body of torment. This new form is designed specifically so the soul can experience the consequences of its life's actions as it's bound and led away toward the realm of judgment. Okay, so this brings us to one of the most misunderstood ideas in all of this, the concept of hell. We tend to picture this place of eternal, fiery damnation, but what these sources describe is something totally different with a very, very specific purpose. Now, the descriptions of what happens in these realms are, well, they're intense, but they're not random. They're meant to directly mirror the harm that was caused in life. They're symbolic. So, someone who caused pain with sharp, cutting words might find themselves in a forest of swords. Someone who walked a dishonest path might be forced to tread on razor blades. The consequence is designed to fit the action. But here is the absolute game changer. This is the most crucial part to understand. This is not about eternal punishment. The whole concept is temporary and educative, not permanent and punitive. It's more like a purifying fire designed to burn away negativity and develop the conscience. It's a really difficult but necessary phase in the soul's long journey, not its final stop. So you hear all that, and it sounds pretty grim, right? Entanglement, consequences, this intense purification process, which leads to the obvious question, is there a way out? Are we just stuck in this loop forever? Well, the texts are crystal clear on this. The answer is yes, there is a way out. And it's not found in some outer ritual, but deep within our own awareness. And this is where the whole story flips. This is the solution, the path of liberation, a way to literally step off this cosmic wheel of cause and effect for good. And it's a path that asks you to look inward, to use a kind of spiritual science to transform your consciousness from the inside out. That science is often called Tantra. And please, just for a second, forget everything you think you know about that word from modern culture. In its original context, from ancient texts like the Vidyambara of Tantra, this is a deep scientific system for human transformation. It doesn't tell you to suppress your natural energies like anger or desire. Instead, it teaches you how to harness their power,
to ride the wave instead of getting crushed by it.
So how does this actually work? Well, the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra offers 112 different methods, and many are as simple and profound as this one. It's all about finding the stillness in your own breath. You just watch the air flowing in and flowing out. But here's the key. You put all of your attention on that tiny pause, that little gap of absolute stillness, right after you inhale and right after you exhale.
So why that gap? What's so special about it? Because in that tiny moment of stillness, when you're neither breathing in nor out, the mind, which is always racing, always tied to the body's activity, it also becomes still. For just a split second, that constant inner chatter just dissolves. And in that silence, you get a flash, a glimpse of what you are beyond the mind, your true unchanging nature. And that glimpse, that experience of your true nature, it points you toward the ultimate truth, the big idea that this entire roadmap has been leading to all along. It's the final destination that the soul's journey is always, ultimately, pointing toward. This is the philosophy of non-dualism, and all it really means is that our deep-seated feeling of being a separate person, an I that's different from you or the world, is an illusion. That in reality, there's only one ultimate thing, a single, unified field of consciousness. So the soul's journey isn't about going somewhere to find God. It's about realizing that you were never, ever separate to begin with.
And this quote just ties it all together so perfectly, doesn't it? Liberation isn't something you achieve. It's something you uncover. It's not about becoming something new or better. It's about peeling back all those layers of ego and ignorance until you see what was there the whole time. The whole journey from that tree of ignorance to the realms of consequence is just a process of stripping away illusion until only the truth is left.
And so this ancient roadmap, after all of that, leaves us with one final profound question to think about. If the you that you think you are, this body, this personality, is just a temporary vehicle, and your true nature is infinite, eternal consciousness, then really, what is there left to fear?